I don't know if you saw the video of him doing like the Muay Thai stuff. He's climbing up walls, delivering kicks. Maybe we'll see that this year. If you're starting a two-hand shove in preseason, you extrapolate that out across the whole entire season. We're definitely going to be at roundhouse kick, maybe about halfway through, maybe around the All-Star game.
Sure. He's had a big role at some points in his career. I'm not expecting some crazy leap. I think he's already in his 30s. Somehow, I believe there was 1 year of overlap. Yeah, which the craziest fact, I could be wrong on this, I want to say there's 1 year of overlap when he was at Oregon with when Pritchard was there, which seems almost impossible.
Yeah, I think they kept
they
saying
both played there for like 5 years.
Why not? Why not? All right. I need you to tell me if I'm crazy here, because I am very excited about Minott, but I can't tell if it's just because I like screaming why not anytime he does something sick on the floor.
Okay.
Screws loose, they done strip the bolts on them. Shoulda never sent them to pick up the work for me. Sprayed the park and had my shit inside the car. Marcus Smart Boy was shooting with a 36 on him. Said if he wasn't in the rush, they was all
right. Greetings, Chudlings. Welcome to another episode of Chuddy's Corner. Chuddy and I, we are back. It is Monday, October 13th. A long overdue Chuddy's Corner. Chuddy, how you feeling today?
Feeling good. Preseason ball's getting the juices flowing a little bit. Not gonna lie. After these 3 games, I'm much more excited about the regular season than I was. Like, I'm obviously always excited when basketball is coming, but it's certainly been a very different type of vibe, especially around the Celtics. But after these preseason games, I'm back to being very, very fired up.
Yeah, I think that's kind of exactly what I needed to get the juices flowing, see those guys out on the court. Like, obviously, a little bit of doom and gloom, Tatum being hurt and stuff like that. A lot of new faces coming in, some really fan favorite faces going out.
Sure.
But yeah, seeing the guys out there balling, seeing everyone getting after it certainly got me a little bit excited. Some of these new players, too, excited to see what they do. And that's what this episode's all about, folks. This is your get to know. This is like your Chuddy's Corner player program, get to know the Celtics. So we're going to go through, we're going to be pulling names out of, I don't know where I put it. We got a little hat here loaded up with every name of every player that's going to be on the roster. We got a spot there for the 15th roster spot too. So we'll get into some of those two-way guys, that might be coming up and down. But we're going to give you, so that way when you get asked, what do you know about this new guy? What do you know about Minott? What do you know about Boucher? All that. You're going to know exactly what to say once you finish listening to this episode. So, Chuddy, are you any thoughts before we kind of get into just about the overall like off-season anything left to kind of cover?
Yeah, I mean, I just think last time we talked, there was still kind of a lot of question marks, obviously, around the team with not only who was actually going to be on it, but I mean, in every talk about the team, it felt like we were more talking about like future roster construction, looking at guys as assets, as numbers on the salary cap. There was a lot less actually analyzing who's on the team, what does this roster look like, how are they going to play? Yeah. We were still kind of like, are we tanking? Are we doing whatever? So I just want to say, especially with where we're at now, it seems like things are at least as stable as they can really be in the NBA in this era of like player movement. But I think for now, the guys on the team at least is what we're going to go into the season with. And I also think that notion of like tanking, barring some actual injuries, is just completely off the table. Again, just watching the guys out there, too competitive, Missoula coaching, too many good players there still. The rest of the East, way too shitty. So I think that was just like the bottom of the doom and gloom after the Tatum thing was just like, are we punting on the season completely? Whereas now, like I said, I'm not
putting fingers, but I feel like there was someone on this podcast that was warming up a little too easily to that tanking idea. And I'm glad that this preseason got your juices going a little bit away from that. We're not. This team is still a solid team.
But that was also right in the heart of like making some of these deals. It sounded like we were going to flip Simons for basically nothing to get under the tax. We hadn't signed Boucher yet, who's an actual like real life NBA big man. Queta hadn't broken out at Eurobasket, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there were some warranted reasons
for that Queta Eurobasket, baby.
That's a Patreon episode only.
Yeah. Only patrons are getting the Euro ball recaps. So shout out to those patrons that have been logging in. All right. So like I said, we were kind of going back and forth about how we wanted to sort of break down the players. We wanted to go just based on like tiers, do it that way. We sort of thought it might be a fun way to kind of, because it all seems some of these players might seem a little random. So we're going to pull names out, but we are going to put them into sort of rankings for you, the Chuddy head, to kind of understand. We're looking at guys that we're going to have our core guys. So the guys that are a big part of like what we're doing, our role players, our Stay Ready crew. We're gonna have a few. I feel like we're gonna have some people that are graduating maybe from Stay Ready up to roll, kind of hanging around on that verge. And then the last tier, it's gonna like ideally you're always ready, but it's probably all right if you're not ready. Like you can probably get away with it. So those are gonna be the 4 tiers. We're gonna split the players up into. Obviously, always want to be ready, but that last tier is like, you can probably sneak in like a little late night or something the night before, but not that we're suggesting that, and not that I think Joe would accept that either. But
no,
those are 4 tiers. So, I guess I can just start. Feel like I don't know. There's a lot more to this than I thought when I was making all these balls. By the way, I use golf balls instead of ping pong balls. Price of ping pong balls absolutely through the roof right now. At least with these golf balls, I'll be hitting the Jayson Tatum golf ball right down the fairway. So at least I can reuse the golf ball. So anyway, that's my story about how we got here. But our first player we're going to discuss, here he is, Sam Hauser. So this is a guy I would say we're putting in the core, right?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I put this guy in the core.
Yeah, all right. So Hauser, last year, great year last year. 8.5 points a game, shot 45% from the field. The only thing that concerns me sometimes with Hauser is the durability, the back injury. That's an injury that frightens me. But I do think that this is going to be a year for him. I'm kind of excited to see him in a larger role because he's obviously going to be played 21 minutes last year, which is still a pretty good amount, but he's probably going to be playing, I would say, much more with that, with Tatum being out. Likely starting, right, you would think?
I would, yeah.
Gotta be? Yeah. So what's your read on Hauser for this season? What's with the T-shirt, too? He only wore that one game. He's not won the T-shirt since, right?
I know. I haven't seen it out there again. I think that might have been some back support, maybe some kind of brace, whatever. But I think the thing with Hauser might just shock people. It's kind of fitting that he's the first one out the gate. Hearing Hauser's part of the core might be like, whoa. But again, I think a good reminder that we probably just lost 3 or 4 players from our core. So the core has a new look.
From the core.
And I think Sam is probably the last guy who you would argue, is he in the core? Is he not? There was a lot of talk about trading him, but I've kind of thought that was crazy all along, and just dumping Sam to get under the tax is crazy. His shooting is so elite. Like, I think people take for granted and just figure, oh, you can get any white guy off the street and he can be the next Sam Hauser and shooter. But Sam is like a special level of shooter.
We've curated that
with his size and the way like he's crafted the rest of his game. Like you said, I think he's going to be a starter this year. The minutes have been there and he's played recently, but I think it's been more of like, this night he might play 7 or 8 minutes. Oh, this night a few guys are out. You're going to play 30 minutes, back and forth. But I think this year, again, starting or going to be that like first guy off the bench at the very worst. But he's going to be a very, very key part of this team. I think he's probably going to play 30 some odd minutes a night on a consistent basis. I think he's going to have a real chance to really like double those numbers across the board and keep that efficiency. Because I mean, again, we've seen the 3-point shot is what it is. He can shoot it 10 times or 2 times. There's nothing fluky about it. So I'm looking forward to see him in a major role and see what he can do in this kind of new run and gun Joe Mazzulla offense. So I'm very excited about Sam. I think he's going to have a huge year. I think if the stats are there, he could be one of those guys at the end of the year. You're looking at the most improved player of the year discussion.
Ooh, a little MIP action. I
don't think that's crazy. I think he could easily go from, you said 8.5. I think he could be up around 14, 15 points a game this year if he's starting. Like, that's not even crazy.
Well, yeah, I think just the minutes alone, I think he's going to get up in that range. He's also, I feel like he's
that award, like it won't be a reflection on actual improvement. It's often just a guy who gets a bigger role and like doesn't drop off, is able to actually keep going. With That's why I said for the most.
I know you could do a whole episode on the criteria for the MIP, but I think the thing with Hauser too, I think this might benefit him playing more consistently because you said how sometimes he comes in and plays like 7 minutes, sometimes he plays 20 minutes. It's all kind of a little bit random. He sometimes can be a little streaky. I think when his shot's off, it feels like it kind of stays off for a little while. I think maybe playing more will help with that. I think that if he's able to kind of stay in that rhythm, you could, I guess, make the argument that the opposite effect could happen, that he could just be really streaky for an even longer period of time. But I feel good about Hauser this year. I'm excited to see him get those extra minutes. I hope the back holds up. If the T-shirt was selling for his back, he should put it back on just to be safe. But he did look very, like, you talk about random white guy off the street with the T-shirt, he really did.
But there's been no reports of like any additional concern health-wise or anything. Like full go, 100%, ready to hit the ground running. So again, I'm just excited to see what he can do in this bigger role. We've talked about how he's better than advertised on defense, has some skills with the ball, and I think this year, again, it's a new role, new opportunity. I'm excited to see what he can do with it.
All right. So, yeah, that's Hauser. I mean, he's obviously a more known commodity for us, but stepping in that new role will be interesting to see how he goes. All right. Ready for our next player? So that's one of our core guys, Hauser there. All right, our next player out the gate, Hugo.
All right.
Where you go, where we go. Is that what we're thinking? Hugo Gonzalez. I know. Can you pronounce it the way that he pronounces Gonzalez too?
No, I'm not even.
Like,
I'm not gonna get that
I
one.
feel like All right, but you do know what I'm talking about. When Drew kind of pronounced it like almost like a very, it's like subtle. I don't really know, but Hugo, I can get Hugo right. I can do that, no problem.
I like that.
The rookie, honestly, he's looked pretty good in some of the preseason games. I'm kind of excited. I don't think. We can kind of get to where I don't think he's quite in our stay ready yet, but I'm excited to see this guy play. He was a guy that at first we weren't even really sure what they were going to do with him when they drafted him, and then he came like right over here, ready to go. So excited to see him play. 6'6", pretty decent size, I think, for like that kind of guard, wing sort of player. I don't know. What's your stance? Are we putting Hugo in the ideally you're ready, but you can probably get away with not being ready here?
I'm ready to put Hugo right into the stay ready crew, and I think there's a real chance he can jump right into that role player tier, honestly, because I think the things that he's good at right now are the things that translate right away. Like, he's an athlete, he's big, like you said, he's strong, he's a beast, he's competing on the defensive end. So I think usually with these young kind of raw guys, it's the opposite way around. Like, all they have is offense, but they don't know the stuff that keeps them on the court. Hugo's already good at the stuff that keeps guys on the court. He really just needs to develop on the offensive end, get that shot down, get a little more fluid with the ball, not as choppy. But again, he's got all the things you kind of look for as like that 9-10th man to come in and shift the game. We've seen that just in those preseason games. I mean, he's come in and in his shifts, like the Celtics have just dominated. It's a very clear shift in terms of energy and stuff. They're going to need guys like that off the bench. So I think he'll get his chance sooner than later. And I think the talent is very, very real. I mean, we talked in the draft episode how a year earlier they had this guy as a top 5 pick in some places, sat on the bench at Real Madrid. But again, that's a very, very high level professional organization. It's not like there's any
sitting on the bench and learning, I would say.
Exactly.
Exactly. Talking about defense.
I think he comes over a lot more ready than people might be thinking. I'm putting him again right in the stay ready, and I think there's a real opportunity for more. So I'm getting pretty excited watching Hugo in these games. Some of the defensive plays he's making, blocking shots, chasing guys down, sticking right with people, that to me shows that he's ready more than some kid who comes in and maybe makes 4 threes or something in their first preseason game. Like, he did knock down a 3, had some nice plays on offense, but I think that'll come. I think he could get a chance real early because of the defense, athleticism, those kind of things, which is very exciting.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see him. I'm not like objecting to him being up in that stay ready group like right away because like for every reason that you just said, I think defense is really, especially in Missoula's system, it's like they can live with the other stuff. If the defense isn't there, you really don't have a spot.
Yeah. And the other thing too, before we get much deeper into this, I should probably point out this year especially, it feels like, honestly, like there's so much new and raw that almost anyone like can be in that stay ready. I think almost anyone is going to get a chance. There's enough unknown that like even the 14th guy eventually, if they're doing the right things, they'll probably jump into this rotation sooner than later. Because again, our core has shrunken, and beyond that, it's all kind of like, well, we're looking to see who is in that next tier, and if someone's working and earning it, like they absolutely should get their chance.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would love to see a lot of this guy. I think that I'm kind of excited about having a rookie.
Solid pedigree. We'll get into pretty high draft pick.
When we talk about those other guys, we can get into it, but I feel like he might be jumping a few people that may have been, in line with as far as time served. So that'll be exciting. Yep. Yeah, I think I know one of those guys, and I'm kind of. We'll get to that guy. We'll get to that guy later. I'm sure we'll pull his name. If I had this thing rigged, I'd pull his name right now. So this is how you know this isn't rigged. Ready? All right, our next player up. Okay, well, this is a little bit rigged. This isn't the guy I was talking about, but the Shire. Baylor Scheierman.
Yep.
All right. You know me. I'm a big Shire guy. Big on the Shire. I do think that this is he's a little bit on the hot seat in that sort of like tier of stay ready or are you not with the rise of Hugo. Not the guy I was thinking of per se. But I do think that his defense where you have Hugo coming in and playing good defense, it certainly puts Scheierman in a little bit more of like an expendable spot.
Yep.
You said he comes in, he can hit some threes and it looks kind of nice. But I will say this is he does seem so comfortable on the floor. So like he makes plays offensively, not just shooting too, like ball handling, passing, and things like that, that to me show a guy with a lot of confidence and a lot of, ability to kind of hang at least on that end of the floor. I'm hoping he gets it defensively because personally, I just really like him, and I want to see him play more. But what do you think of him, and which one of these tiers is he kind of on a hot seat tier wise?
I mean, honestly, I think he's pretty much neck and neck with Hugo, as in he's definitely in the stay ready, but I think he'll probably have a shorter leash where you want to see something right away, whereas Hugo might have a little more of a runway, being obviously
more of a leash.
Well, Hugo is what, 18, 19? Scheierman's like 25. So, I mean, that does have to factor in. The whole point of Scheierman is that he should be NBA ready when you draft a guy who's been in college that long, whereas Hugo, we know, is kind of a more raw project. So the fact that they're already grading out like similarly from what I'm seeing is probably not good news for Scheierman, but I think it's great news for Hugo. With Baylor, I think it's kind of what we talked about. Like, he is so comfortable doing this cool, funky stuff with the ball, but it's like, how much are we actually going to want that in Celtics games that aren't blowouts? So I kind of need him to be able to do those little things. And again, in game 1, he made a few shots. Last game, he was not making the shot. The shot selection was a little crazy. So I think he just has to get to that point where he's a reliable knockdown 40% shooter for the conversation to even start. And if he can't do that, honestly, I think it's just going to be tough for him to get on the floor with all these other guys where it's like, if the shot isn't falling, yeah, he can make plays, but we have enough guys who can make plays, who can have the ball. So again, I'm not burying him. I think he's definitely still in that stay ready crew, and I think hopefully he kind of can turn it up in some other places and be ready when he is called upon. But again, I think you get draft a guy, second round pick or very into the first, whatever it was, ended up being already that old. You kind of got to see it this year.
Right. 30, he shot 31%, just under 32% from three last year. So like you said, that's not going to get him on there. No, exactly. With all the stuff with the stuff he can do offensively, you're right. If you can't do those, at least that with this team shooting threes, all that other stuff doesn't really matter. But maybe that'll make him an appetizing option for another team.
He's got to hit the glass too.
Some of that. Maybe what's that?
We've seen Mazzulla already just benching guys, quick leash. You give up an offensive rebound, you miss a guy, you're out of there. So can Scheierman commit to the little things, the fundamentals, become like kind of more of a dog? Because again, he kind of has those like skill wise assets, but it's like he needs more of the dog stuff that's going to get him on the court.
Yeah, it might take a little bit more than just stare down in a doorway to get him on the floor this year with some of the talent. So again, I'm a well established. I own property in the Shire. I'm all in on the Shire.
Right.
But interested to see what he'll do this year. There's definitely a little bit. I feel like last year he was kind of the one putting the flame to Jordan Walsh's ass. Now I feel like he has Hugo sort of doing the same thing to him. So between those three, one of them gotta fucking just step up.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, all right. Next up here. Who do we got up here? All right. Well, speak of one of those guys right now, Jordan Walsh. This is the guy that to me, if we don't see it this year, it isn't there. I think that I'm a fan of Walsh personally and things like that, but I just feel like I know he's a little bit younger, and I know you don't like the Scheierman comparison because of how much older Scheierman is than him and all that. But he's going to have plenty of opportunities, especially with Tatum out, and I just need to see it this year. This is like, I think this is a put up or shut up year for Walsh. He might be. I think he's another guy that's probably flirting with that state. Like between him, Scheierman, and Hugo, one of them is going to have to get bumped to the fourth tier down and not be part of the stay ready. Where do you think Walsh fits into this year? I know it sounds like I was just ripping on Walsh, but do you get what I'm saying?
No.
I feel like it's like
I mean, I actually have Walsh in that kind of like don't even need to stay ready group. I think he might have just missed his window. I haven't seen enough. The only place he really looks great is like at Summer League, but these preseason games, it's kind of more of just like there's too many guys who kind of do what he does, but better. And it's like he doesn't have any one skill where he excels. So I'm not ready to bury him yet. But again, I'm going to need to see something somewhere that kind of gets him onto the floor. Because right now I'm kind of looking, well, is he going to be your defense energy guy? It's like, well, I kind of like Minott and Hugo for that. He's certainly not giving you anything on offense that those other guys aren't. Rebounding, again, I think that could be his path because Mazzulla's made it such a point of emphasis already. And he can definitely rebound. He's got the size and the athleticism. So maybe that's going to be his thing. I don't know how far that can take you. So, I mean, I've been obviously preaching patience with Walsh for a while, but like you said, it's very now or never, and it's looking closer to never than now. So he might have to earn his way back into the stay ready crew.
Chud, credit to you for that. That's an honest take. I feel like me and you have gone at it over Walsh. I'm kind of, that's don't let anyone say that he's a straight up homer, folks.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like I'm certainly not trying to get on the guy or anything like that, but again, it's like that window might be kind of closing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about Walsh, but I do with everything you were just saying. I don't even really have much to say except that credit to you. I thought the only reason I was saying that he'd be maybe in that stay ready because I thought you were going to be fighting for him to be in that stay ready.
And I mean, like I said earlier, we only have 14 guys. Tatum being one who's hurt. That's 13 guys. Everyone should be stay ready on every single night. And Mazzulla's basically made it clear, guys are still playing for jobs. The rotations aren't set in stone. So I think you go 1 to 13. Like Walsh might be the 13th guy right now, but I think we could go to that 13th guy in the first or second game. That wouldn't be crazy at all. This isn't like a usual team with the last few years where it's like we have 7, 8 clear guys, and then it's like who's going to clean up the scraps at the end. Now again, it's like we have 4 guys we trust. Beyond that, I'd say anyone to the 13th guy could carve out a role on any night. So we might be saying this now. Walsh could come out guns blazing, and suddenly he's one of the first guys off the bench by week 2.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so we need to get we got Hauser as a core guy. This lottery. This is all right. Let's go. What do we got next? Let's see here. All right, Pritch Daddy, reigning 6th man of the year, Payton Pritchard. Just an absolutely unbelievable season last year. Career high in points, career high in shooting percentage, career high in rebounds, assists. Like I said, got 6th man of the year. It has been starting some of these preseason games, though. He only started 3 out of the 80 games he played last year. There was certainly plenty of games where position-wise you would think that he could have started. We were kind of keeping him coming off the bench. He was just playing so well in that role. I'm not opposed to having him still kind of be a bench guy. I just don't know if they can do it with the current makeup of the roster. They might have to have him starting more games. But I'm super pumped about Pritchard. I mean, probably my favorite player outside of the Jays that's on the team. Well, I guess Derrick White too. I guess I could list every player on the team. But what do you think about Pritchard's? Let's start there with as him as a starter. Do you want him coming off the bench? Would you prefer him to be starting just based on need? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Pritchard clearly now a core guy with the guys we've lost and, the homegrown guy that he has developed into. I'm saying get him into the starting lineup this year. Like I just said, it's not years past where we can kind of get cute with him. We're going to have 2 very, very good players coming off the bench. We need our best players to play as much as possible this year. He's clearly one of them. Positional overlap, I don't care. He fits so well into the scheme, into this system. I'm looking for another leap as a starter this year. He's the guy who, if everything goes right and the Celtics win more games than possible, he'll have some light all-star buzz this year. I don't think that's crazy at all. I think he could average over 20 points a game, over 5 assists a game. We know how good a rebounder he is. They want to play small. They're going to ask him to do those other things. He can play point guard. He can create his own shot. He can create for others. He can play off the ball. Derrick White can run the show. Pritchard can definitely play off the ball. He's a guy defenses have to close out against. I'm very excited for Pritchard this year. Kind of like I said with Hauser. We know it's there. We've seen it obviously a little more with Pritchard, but I'm ready for an even bigger role, 35 minutes a game of Pritchard. He's going to be one of our main guys. He's going to be battling. I think his stats are going to impress people. I think he's just going to keep on getting better and better. I'm super excited to see what Pritchard can do. And I guess, starting coming off the bench is kind of like semantics, but he's very clearly one of the very, very core guys who's going to play 35 plus minutes a game and will be in there for closing time every single night. And I'm excited to see what we can do. He's handled every challenge and risen to the occasion. I expect that to keep coming. So one of my more excited guys to watch is definitely the development of Pritchard this year and a bigger opportunity.
Yeah, I'm absolutely so pumped to see him in that larger role. So last year, I'm just trying to look. Last year he played 22 minutes, or no, last year he played 28 minutes a game. Mm-hmm. He averaged 14.3. Like you said, you got to think he's going to be getting up around 35 minutes a game this year. Yeah. over 20 points a game would be fucking sweet. I don't know if I see it, but if there's a guy, I certainly have the belief that it's possible in there. But
Yeah.
I see him more as like, I mean, Derrick White, I think last year was around like 17 points a game. I feel like he could.
Yeah.
But
I think
that's
they'll
with
ask
Tatum
Pritchard
on the
to
floor.
look for more of his own offense. I think they'll need him.
Yeah.
They're going to need to make up a lot of scoring between Tatum, Drew, Al, and Luke gone. I mean, I don't know the math off my head, but that's got to be 60, 70 points a night at least that we're replacing. And, you just go up and down the list. Like I said, we got a lot of guys who can help. But in terms of who's going to come in and score, Simons, Pritchard, a bump for the other guys. But, I don't think 20 a night's out of the realm of possibility at all.
No, I'm pumped. I'm actually really pumped to see Pritchard in that bigger role. All right, let's pull our next name here. Oh, all right, so we had Hauser, Pritchard in the core, our role guys.
Mm-hmm.
We have
no role guys yet. We pulled, I don't think.
No role guys yet. Yeah, we got to get the role guys here. All right, let's see here. We can't get a role guy here. Derrick White, core guy. Core to the core. He's a player, too, that I think I'm excited to see with the extra need for offense without Tatum in there.
Yeah,
I think this is the year that he could get himself an all-star nod. I think him and Tatum have had such a great two-man game together. I'm worried it'll be a little bit of a change, I think, for him in kind of finding that. But what I was seeing with him and Luka Garza, their little pick-and-roll game in some of these preseason games has been masterful. We'll talk more about Garza and his screening. Spend a lot of time on Garza's screening if we want to later. But I'm excited. This is another guy who, similar to Pritchard, not so much minutes wise, but I would say share of shots, shot, whatever you would call. What is that? A shot percentage or shot share?
Yeah, usage.
Usage, sure, yeah. With his usage way up, I'm excited to see what kind of next step he can take. He's still got the defensive end. He's had some big blocks in preseason. So again, he's a guy with the bigger usage. Minutes will probably stay about the same, but with the bigger usage and bigger need. I'm curious to see how he kind of picks up the load, because I think he's looked really good in this role. More could go one way, could go the other way. I feel like it's going to go the good way, though.
Yeah,
totally not biased.
No. I mean, I think that's fair for Derrick White, because we've seen it. He's whatever role they've needed him to fill, he's happily filled. He's clearly a very selfless guy, which I think could be beneficial this year. Whereas I said we need the scoring to pick up, but I think Pritchard is a more natural go get a bucket. White obviously can do it, but I think deep down, he wants to play more like a point guard. We've seen some of that this preseason. In the first game, I think he had 9 assists at halftime when he stopped for the night. So I think more than anything, it'll be the point Tatum and Tatum kind of doing everything, where White picks up, plays a little more natural point guard, runs the offense more. I think the assist numbers will be up. The usage will be up. He'll score a few more points, but I think he's going to be the guy more than anyone who's kind of looking to get his teammates involved, to make sure we're still running our fast-paced, spread the wealth, pace and space offense. And I think it's going to be perfect for him. Like you said, I think all-star, very realistic. If he's the second best player on a playoff team, that's very realistic with obviously how good he is at defense. And he's already kind of gotten that reputation as one of the best players to not make an all-star team. You look at how weak the East is going to be too. Half the guys from last year's all-star team went West or are hurt or are just old and don't play anymore. So I think White all-star push, very real. And if the Celtics are maybe even better than we think, third team All-NBA, not crazy. Another guy, I feel like we're saying this about every single guy, but again, that was kind of the theme of the show. I'm excited about the team. Everyone has a new role. I'm excited about it. Some of it probably won't go well, but again, Derrick White, not a guy I'm going to bet against. So I think he can average close to 20 points and 7-8 assists a night with first team caliber defense. He's going to be awesome, and I can't wait. He's watching again those guys that we're just talking about now, the Jaylens, the Whites, Pritchard, is why you watch them for first 10 minutes of preseason. I was yeah, this team isn't tanking. Absolutely
right. Well, yeah. I mean, I think I said that even before any of this other roster stuff was settled. If you have Derrick White and you have Jaylen Brown and you're playing in the Eastern Conference, that's at least a 40 win team, probably close to a 42, 43 win team. So
yeah,
and in the East that gets you in the playoffs. But now, see what we've seen now. I'm saying this is
I'm pining for more
team. We're pining.
Yeah,
I'm pining
for sure.
Yeah, no, it's a good point you said too about a lot of the Tatum playing point forward. White getting a chance to kind of play more of that natural point guard. Just thinking about a situation where you have White, Pritchard, Hauser. And I know these guys played on the floor a lot last year too, but it's just there's going to be so many open shots. And I think giving him a chance to kind of be that point guard and help guys find those shots will be interesting to see. So excited about Derrick White. All right, you ready for another name?
Yep.
All right, let's see here. All right, let's close out the core. We got Jaylen, JB. Super excited for this year for Jaylen. Like, I don't think he would ever admit it or maybe even ever thought about it, but there's got to be a part of him that is a little bit like excited by the chance to be on this team without Tatum for a little while.
I think he'll happily admit it basically has.
Okay, all right. I know he's been doing a lot of streaming. I haven't tuned into a ton of those streams, but
I think he's made it pretty clear he's thrilled to be the guy and that he really can be, and he's always sacrificed to not. So I don't think he's too shy about that part. Right. Maybe not happy that Tatum got hurt.
Fair. Yeah, I think that's maybe what I'm more. I don't think he's, but I think he's absolutely psyched up for this opportunity to sort of be that guy. You saw the first game of preseason; he's throwing out two-hand shoves to players on the other team.
21 points at halftime.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, I know. I mean, I like to start with the two-hand shove. I know he can score 21 points. I want to make sure that I know that he can still do that. I don't know if you saw the video of him doing like the Muay Thai stuff. He's like climbing up walls, delivering kicks, like things like that. Not that necessarily. Maybe we'll see that this year. I didn't think we see a two-hand shove in preseason. I feel like if you're starting a two-hand shove in preseason, you extrapolate that out across the whole entire season. We're definitely going to be at roundhouse kick, maybe about halfway through, maybe around the All-Star game.
Sure.
So obviously hope the technical fouls stay in check with the newfound, physical skills. But it's going to be a super exciting year for Jaylen. I'm kind of excited to see this. I'm sort of wondering like what form this new, what form his game is going to take. I don't know if it's the best. I don't know if the best solution is for him to like try to take up all of that extra opportunities, all those extra shots and things like that. I still think that he's at his best when he's finding his best shots, when he's not forcing the ball. So, what do you kind of stand on, sort of what clear number one, Jaylen?
Yeah. So, I mean, Jaylen, very obviously a core guy, like you said, and another guy whose role is just elevated to being the guy full time. I think it's perfect for him. I think he's already kind of been the leader. Now it's just very clear, at least until Tatum's out. It's like, you've got the reins. It's your team. And yeah, people kind of have this idea that like Jaylen having control means he's suddenly going to shoot 30 shots a game and just fire off like awful looks. I don't see that. I honestly think he's just too smart of a basketball player to fall into that trap. And like we kind of joked
we've
about,
seen him do that in short stretches though, in short situations.
I'm not saying it'll
not on the floor.
I'm not saying it'll never happen, but in a way, I feel like even in those spurts, he's kind of known like this is Tatum's thing. I'm hot right now. I'm going to take advantage of it. This year, I think he has a lot more ability to look at it from a macro sense and say like, Tatum's not showing up anytime soon. This is kind of my team to manage. I need to be smart about how I manage myself. And I'm fully confident that he will. I think we saw it even in last night's preseason game. The Celtics looked great, and that was as close as we've seen to our actual lineup. He took a backseat. I think he only shot like 2 of 6. He had 5 or 6 assists in the first half. He was playing distributor. He was doing all the right things that, again, we know he can't do.
Yeah.
I just find it so hard to believe he's suddenly going to turn into this, like, me first, get my shots up guy, knowing that those shots will be there whenever the hell he wants them. I think he's thrilled about this, again, Missoula offense. He's going to play super fast. He's pushing the pace, the tempo, all that stuff. And he has a good familiarity with these other guys. He knows he's going to need that to win. I think, like, again, as much as Jaylen can prove by scoring 30 points a night, what have you, that'll be great. But to me, the way he can really prove it is if the team is actually good. If this is a 50-win team and a top 5-4 seed in the East without Jayson Tatum, that will say much more about Jaylen Brown than if he goes out and, wins the scoring title on a 500 team. Exactly. And I think, again, he knows that. He's not an idiot, and I think he does want to win. So, again, I'm excited to see him kind of shift into that alpha role. Not that he's ever not been an alpha, but, like, the clear, undisputed, it's your team. And I think he'll handle that the right way. I think he's really smart about it. And I think, Joe is really smart about it. And I think there's going to be times where we see him go nuclear and have those 20-point halves. Again, we've seen the balance already with the 21-point half in the first game where, again, he was just lights out. It wasn't like he was forcing anything. He just couldn't miss. And then the other night where, like I said, I think he only had under 5 points at halftime, but he had 6 assists, 7 rebounds, something like that, doing it all. So
and
I'm very
to
excited
counterpoint my counterpoint about how we've seen that a little bit when Tatum isn't on the floor is I feel like maybe some of that is because he knew it was such a limited amount of time with Tatum out there that we see him forcing some of the stuff now where, I mean, he might have to worry about being back a little sooner, and we'll get into that.
Sure.
But I think it's obviously a comfortableness of knowing that it's sort of like he is the guy on the team. How can he best do that? And I think you're right. I think he'll find the best way to do that. So I'm excited about seeing this form of Jaylen this year.
Yeah. And I also think people might underestimate just how much he was hurt last year playing with a bum knee most of the season. He already, again, just in preseason, looks like a different guy, looks back to full health. I think you forget how unbelievably explosive and dominant of an athlete he really is.
Yeah, but did he start last year? He didn't start last year with a bad knee, did he?
No, but I mean, he played like more than half the season remember, he was questionable. Yeah. He was in and out. At first, we thought it was nothing.
But he had the surgery this year, so it's like he looks good now, but hopefully the knee holds up. That's all I'm saying. It's all
obviously.
All right. Our next one here. All right. Luka Garza. All right. Luka Garza's coming over from the Timberwolves. He's wearing, I wrote it down earlier, he's wearing number 52. Huge white guy. Can't miss him. Fourth year in the league. Has played 4 years in the league. I guess I couldn't really understand how Basketball Reference was putting it. This is a guy came over from Minnesota. He's 6'10". You look at the stats. This is a player that I feel like this episode is like almost catered to for the Chuddy head at home. Because this is a guy where if you go online, you look, you say, this guy hasn't done fuck all in Minnesota, really. Like, he doesn't play a lot of minutes. He doesn't score a lot of points. The stats just aren't there to really show you anything. Obviously, though, Brad, the Celtics, see something in this guy. They brought him over. In preseason, I think we've seen some of what they've seen. I think this is very X and O stuff, but, well, maybe not very, but it's like he sets unbelievable screens. And we just lost maybe the best screen setter of all time in Luke Cornett. So if this guy can be even like a percentage of that, that's going to be huge for us. I think a lot of what we do obviously relies on those screens. So I know that he can set great screens. In extended minutes, though, is he a guy that's going to be able to go out, rebound, get blocks, things like that? Where do you think he is in that stance? Like, is he like a Luke where don't expect offense, but just expect like him to play within that role? Or can he kind of do you think he can do more, something that we haven't seen because of his limited role in Minnesota?
Yeah, well, obviously the Celtics are hoping he can do more than he did in Minnesota, but again, he just didn't really get a chance. He was buried behind a very good front court. It's not like he was behind bums. That's maybe the best front court in the league. They liked him. The Celtics liked him. They brought him over. Guy was an absolute stud in college. He has been good in his limited minutes. He's just never really gotten consistent minutes. That's going to change. He's clearly in the role player tier that he's going to be immediately rotation minutes right out the gate. And again, he's looked good in preseason. He was like a 20-plus point a game go-to guy in college, like a pure scorer. He has real skills. He's not a Luke, like he's basically just a rim runner and he can finish if the ball gets to him ready to dunk. Like Garza's got some moves. He can shoot. Again, I think we haven't really seen it, but I think Missoula, I'm guessing, will have him popping and firing. He's been getting up a few shots in the preseason. I think he made 1-3 maybe, but he's been letting it fly. I think that'll continue.
Firing from where?
What?
31% 3-point shooter.
Yeah. But he's got the shot. It's not like a prayer. Like he's got a good release. He's someone I think he's young enough. He can be molded to just step back a little, become a 3-point shooter in this system is the idea. Because he's really good with the ball, good free throw shooter, has good polish. He's not like some big oaf who they're just kind of like forcing to shoot because he's so wide open.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's not crazy to think that could be part of his game. But again, even around the rim, such soft hands, so good with the ball. The ball finds him, and he can finish down there. He's crafty. You could actually throw it to him and have like an old school post game with this guy, which is very different than our other bigs who kind of just like rely on athleticism. So, I mean, again, part of this, I don't want to hype it up too much. Opportunity is there. We need a guy to kind of do what he can do, but he's going to get a real chance. It's looked really good in the preseason. I keep coming back to rebounding. Not the best athlete, not the best defender, but if he can use his size and he can be really, really good on the glass, which again, great rebounder in college, that's kind of what you're hoping, that this guy can come in off the bench, maybe give you some points, hold his own on the defensive end, and just kind of solidify the rebounding game down low. As you mentioned, it's kind of a joke, but really, really good screener. And the Celtics have a lot of guys who are used to playing with good screeners, so that will just help the offense flow so much. And again, a guy who you can ably throw it down to, and he can make a play out of the post, can do something with it. We'll see if he's able to pop out, hit some threes. But I'm excited about Garza. I think that's a very, very good, cheap investment who could become like a really, really solid bench player for this team. So looking like a good move. We'll see what happens.
even if he just make a few like moves in the post, if we don't get to that 3-point thing you're talking about, even if he's just down in the post making moves that can actually turn into something, I feel like that is going to open up 3-point shots because you're going to have people going in for help. If he gets on a mismatch and he starts doing, pivot, like people are going to crash.
Yeah,
he gets the shot, got shot out. So I think I'm kind of high on Garza. I think when he first came in, I was like, we are so fucked because like feels like we are kind of fucked in that 5 spot.
For sure,
it's going to be a 5 spot by committee. Boucher is making a good run at
if we can snatch things together.
Yeah, but I am excited about this guy. He's a guy that preseason has got me excited. Now, if that turns into anything, we'll see. But certainly got me excited in preseason.
Definitely excited about Garza.
All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. This is kind of a bonus ball here because we only have 14 guys in the roster. I got 15 golf balls. So much like the pack of 15 golf balls I bought, there's an extra spot. So this is our 15th roster spot question here. So my question for you is, we've had a lot of guys playing. We don't think we have guys on 2-ways, the E10s and things like that. Or you think there's some like wild card out there too, right? Or you might think that. I'm not saying that you do. What do you think is going to be the play with that 15th roster spot? We've done this before, starting the season with an opening. Do you think there's a player that might fill it that's with us now, or that could be a trade? What do you think is going to happen with that?
No, realistically, none of the Exhibit 10 guys are really popping, and they're kind of nothing too exciting. Wendell Moore had an unbelievable poster dunk last night in the waning seconds of the game. If you haven't seen that, go check it out on Twitter, just because the dunk was so sick. But I don't think any of these guys are getting a roster spot. We do have another 2-way, so maybe there. The 2-way guys, as of right now, are just the 2 guys we drafted in the second round, Amari Williams and Max Shulga. So no reason to not just leave them on 2-ways. So I really don't think we're going to actually use that 15th roster spot for anyone currently in-house. I think there are some benefits to rolling into the season with that spot open. Obviously, you can sign someone, there's flexibility, saves money, which is obviously very important. And then for the possibility of pulling off a trade, you have an extra roster spot, makes obviously trades much easier. You don't have to waive someone if you take in an extra guy, et cetera, et cetera. So I think leaving things open and maybe seeing how the season plays out. Again, maybe we're better than we thought, and it's suddenly like, oh shit, we're a team that is in the market to go sign a buyout guy. Something like that, with our tax bill so much lower, that's something we can now do if someone legitimate gets bought out or waived. Maybe not him this year, ideally.
I heard that he actually might have fully retired.
Yeah, he's on the podcast booth for like Amazon or something. He's in like this.
What he's up to. Okay, yes.
Definitely.
Just really like that year.
A guy like Blake Griffin a few years ago who, inevitably some things will go wrong with some team and some unexpected veteran will probably hit the market. And it's like, are the Celtics going to be good enough that we're chasing a guy like that? If so, we have the spot. If not, like I said, they can do a 2-for-1 trade now that we've gotten so much lower. Taking an extra guy could be nice. A lot of possibilities, so I don't have a specific guy in mind, but I do think, given the position that the Celtics are in...
You don't think that it's any of the guys that are kind of playing with us right now?
No. Again, I think the 2-way guys are going to stay. They're going to play in Portland, and Shulga looks... he's not an NBA player anytime soon. Amari Williams needs work, but again, just being how kind of questionable we are in the front court, I would it's not crazy that he could show out so much that he's getting a chance at some point. But again, we can keep those guys on 2-ways. There's no reason not to, unless there's, unless he's so good that he's like, we want him to be our starting center for the season going forward, which obviously would be a great problem to have. And at that point, we've got the spot, so great. But no, I'd expect we roll into the season with that spot open, and probably keep it open for as long as possible. Because again, at this point, I think we're probably just trying to save money more than anything with that spot.
All right. 15th roster spot. We're going to put that in the ideally ready, but probably okay if you aren't spot. That 15th.
Yes.
Mysterious.
Correct.
All right. Next up, who do we got here? Oh, our boy, Jayson Tatum. So, Superman is what they're calling him. He's never going to be the same, and that should absolutely terrify everybody. The Achilles injury, we are feels like weeks from the Achilles injury, and he's already dunking, performing, doing all types of basketball activity. It was 15-minute drills. He's got to be, I think he's already up beyond that. The video of him dunking is amazing. He's got the new shoe coming out. He's got commercials coming out. I think we're going to see him back earlier than people. I think there's a chance we do, but I'm also, because what I always hear people say when I say, I think we'll have him back I always say Christmas. We aren't even play on Christmas, so I can't be necessarily wrong because it's like maybe would have been. But I don't think he's going to be back. Like, I think maybe March-ish. But there's another part of me that's just wondering, like, I don't know. You get a little bit scared because of the Achilles. It's a whole new age surgery he got. I get all of that stuff. What do you think, like, the chances of him coming back, like, before the playoffs are? And, like, because what I would say, too, to people, they'd say, oh, do you want him to come back that early? It's like, well, obviously, what if he gets hurt? Well, I would assume they wouldn't be bringing him back if there was a chance that it wasn't fully healed. So whenever he comes back, I have no doubt it's going to be, like, by, like, every doctor's, like, says it's okay. I don't think he's, like, forcing his way back. But yeah, I mean, what a remarkable recovery. And, like, what do you think this means for the team this year? Like, this, they could be a team that, you know, right around the trade deadline is bringing in a Jayson Tatum for nothing. He's already here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Tatum core guy, the core still from everything.
The core.
Yeah, it's impossible not to be excited about all that stuff. If I'm the team and anyone else, I'm definitely still operating as if, like, we're not getting him back. Just, I wouldn't even think that way.
Right.
I wouldn't even allow it to creep into the realm of possibility. But I don't work for the team. I'm a fan. I'm just
traveling with the team during preseason.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my God, I know. No, for sure. And these videos are amazing.
Until he's just walking up to guys and being like, one-on-one game, let's go. And they're looking around the doctors like, oh, what am I supposed to do?
So, again, I'm not going to pretend to be like a doctor and know exactly what's going on. But like you said, I imagine that eventually they'll get to a point where he's just cleared. And at that point, it's like, well, is there even a benefit to keeping him out just for, like, extra insurance if the doctors are saying, like, he's cleared 100%? And you're really going to do that? So the more I thought about holding him out, obviously, again, if he's not cleared and by the end of the year, then it's a no-brainer. You obviously don't play him. Right. Assuming at some point he does get cleared, which you said March. People keep joking. I think March 3rd is his birthday. They have a home game March 4th against the Hornets. He said when he comes back, it'll be T-Garden. People are connecting dots. I don't know. I think you can look at it both ways. There's the, like you said, the team's doing better than you thought. He's ready earlier than you thought. How are you going to tell this 27-year-old, one of the best athletes on earth who's worked his ass off to get back on the court, nah, sorry, we're going to sit you out, even though the doctors don't say we have to.
Fans that.
Well, right, but even how do you tell him? We used to joke about Tatum that they have to tie him down just to get him to load manage like one game a season. So if he's busting his ass, which he obviously is, we can tell, to get back out there. If the doctors are like, yeah, you're 100% good to go, then you think the team is going to be like, nah, sorry, like, we don't trust it. Or like, what's even the point then at that point? So I think that's the argument. If the team is really good, how do you not? It's like a no-brainer. And again, we keep saying, obviously you want to play the long game, but at the end of the day, the game is to win titles. The East, we've seen how brutal it is. Like, if the Knicks and Cavs stumble and this thing is wide open and the Celtics are sneaky in the top 6 and the doctor's like, yeah, he's good to go, I don't even think there's a question at that point. At that point, the bigger question is just, how much do we change? Well, it's like things are obviously working. So it's like, do we completely go back to what the team was? Do we try to mix Tatum in and like keep this going? So I think then it would become more of like more basketball questions. But if he's cleared to play, I think you're playing him. And I think the argument the other way is, well, if the team sucks, why would you play him too in like a lost year? But I think then you could still say, well, if he's 100%, let's get his like early rust and whatever out of the way now while the season's lost, so that by next year when we're hopefully ready again, it's not like him just going out there for the first time. You've gotten this weird feel out process out of the way. So for me, again, what the doctors say was what the doctors say. But if it's, at March, certainly beginning of March, there's enough season left that if they're like, yeah, he's fully cleared to play, I don't even think it's a question.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be, barring injuries to other of the players we've been discussing, I don't think that there's any way that the team isn't going to be contending come March. So it really is just a matter of like, if he doesn't have a setback, I would say that he's going to be back like this season, and it's going to be pretty miraculous. And then that is where, everyone can tune into Chuddy's Corner, and we'll kind of discuss what that does mean for the team too, because it will be an interesting kind of like, what do you do with that guy? You don't want to completely throw out everything, but you obviously can't keep him out of there. I feel like he's also a good, I think he'll be all right in that role, kind of, if he is kind of playing a little bit differently as he gets used to playing. But it's just remarkable. I mean, I know the article is a few weeks old now, but that article about his like procedure and just the Achilles procedure in general, where, they say like what used to get athletes to not be able to bounce back was the time that is spent in a hard cast. And he spent no time in a hard cast. Right. So it's like, a lot of, when you talk to people who have, been watching sports forever, like we have, and these here Achilles, they said there's no way he's back. When it's Achilles, it's like you almost have to think of the injury in a completely different way because the surgery is now so different of how you manage it. Like you used to get an infection on your hand and they would cut off your whole hand, right? Now you can treat it with antibiotics. So I feel like the Achilles is like it used to have to be this basically the equivalent of cutting off your leg if you're a pro athlete, putting in a hard cast. Now he had the surgery in less than 24 hours and was
without
walking
traveling
around like 2 or 3 weeks later. It's crazy.
Exactly. And the other guys who have come back too early and have had setbacks haven't had these same circumstances. They've tried to come back at inopportune times. They've been much older. I mean, what was Kobe? Was like into his mid-30s and had so many miles on his hand too. Like
especially,
exactly. We've never seen it happen with someone who's just like coming into their physical prime and has attacked the surgery and all that like this. So the sky's the limit. I don't want to get too excited or act like we really know, but from everything we've seen, it's about as encouraging as it could ever possibly be. And the other thing too about the idea of like resting him, honestly, when he first hits the court, it could be fucking January, it could be the beginning of next year, it could be 3 years from now. No matter what, we're still going to be like holding our breath every time he hits the ground. And that's just not going to go away for a little while. But that no matter when he comes back, we're going to feel that. It's not like there's going to be some certain amount of time. He sits out 2 years and we're like, perfect. He's automatically
exactly. I mean, if he
awesome. Like
if he missed a whole year and then came back, it'd be like we should have played him last year just to get rid of all this nerves or whatever. But
no matter when he comes back, soon, late, on time, there's going to be nerves around it. Just the way it is.
And and credit to him too, just on the whole like recovery thing. I mean, like he got into it too in that article. Like it was just such a depressing and dark time. Like so the fact that he's kind of coming back the way he is, super impressive. Just absolute superhuman stuff. Right. He's a guy who's always kind of a polarizing star, but it's like after this, if he comes back and is nasty again, like I'm sorry, that's the stuff of legends right there.
Right.
Also, the new shoes look fucking sick too. The Tatum 4s look very nice. And I'm not just saying that because I'm hoping Chuddy's Corner will get a box of them sent to us like some other podcasts have. I'm not saying that because I want that. I actually think they're sick.
I got the.
But if they are coming, let me know so I don't buy them.
Yeah, but also credit to him too. I think it just speaks to his character and everything he's proven as a professional that we basically just expect like he'll be back and better than ever. Like it's one thing for guys, anyone who gets hurt obviously says shit like that right when they get hurt. But with Tatum, like you expect everything he says to be true, and you just see like he's so committed. He's such a hard worker. He's such a professional. Just does and says the right thing in every possible turn. That like I don't think we're being homers or overly optimistic to assume that he is going to come back and be that guy again.
No. All right, let's roll because we gotta get him on balls here. All right,
let's do it.
Next spot. Why not? Minott. All right. I need you to tell me if I'm crazy here because I am very excited about Minott, but I can't tell if it's just because I like screaming "Why not" anytime he does something sick on the floor.
Okay.
This is another one of the guys comes over from the Timberwolves. Kind of unclear what he is as a player, like because of the limited minutes that he got there. Seems like an absolute motor guy. Is his nickname the lawnmower because of his motor? Like, is that the background of the nickname?
So he was asked about his play style and about how like aggressive he is and stuff, and he basically said, "I'm just like a lawnmower. I come in, I just got to get myself going, and then I just keep going." Which I don't even really know what that means, but it's stock.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So Minott, that's perfect. I have Minott right in the role players right away. I think he's going to be a key bench guy. I think all the stuff we've kind of lost with our like edge on that end and what kind of we need those edge guys to pick up in other ways this year, Minott's going to come in and fill that. Love his size, length, athleticism. I mean, we've seen him making crazy plays already in the preseason. He had an unreal dunk. He's had a few dunks. He had a windmill last night. He had another dunk where he just blew past this guy. Seemed like he hung in the air. Unreal athlete. Really good defensive player. He's, again, long. He's going to get his hand on shots. And, again, he's been coming into the preseason. It's been kind of – we already talked about Hugo and Garza. When those three guys come in, it's like completely changing the energy. I'm really excited about Minott. Again – kind of raw on offense, not the best shooter, but he's knocked down a couple threes. He's made some nice plays. We're not going to ask him to do too much. He's, again, a reason why a guy like Walsh is kind of falling down because Minott just looks so much better. I think he can play real minutes, and I think he can be a really, really good bench piece for this team. I'm very excited about Josh Minott.
I like him. He's young. He almost reminds me a little bit of like just like a younger, like more athletic, like O'Shea Brissett kind of guy, but I think he's going to play more. Like comes in, like we don't need you to go out there and score a bunch, but you just go out there and fucking run that motor, get that lawnmower going, baby.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be good. Wearing number 8, got the KP number, so you'll notice that.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not KP anymore when you see number 8.
I don't think there'll be much confusion.
There's some differences. You'll be able to tell right away that he's a different player.
But I think we've been talking kind of on the fringes about this, but you can tell a shift in style. They've talked about it. Every single guy they've asked is just talks about the pace, how fast they're playing, how their practices are insane and like top gear. And they've clearly gone out and found some guys who fit it. I think none more than Minott. You're going to see turnovers, transition. He's just going to be so perfect for this system. And with the other guys we have, I think it's going to cover up for some of his weaknesses because it's going to be everyone else flying around, getting open for threes, him making plays, going up and down the court, and kind of setting that up. So,
yeah. Did you see
very excited to
that point real quick? To that point, real quick, did you see here I think it was the first preseason game. Drew Carter mentioned Cassell said that this is like the hardest training camp he's been a part of in the NBA, and Scal got all pissed. He's like, "What? Like harder than 08?" Like, blah, blah. So that's interesting.
Took
but
exception.
this is the same exact thing. Yeah, I did see. Yeah, I mean, I saw that was like something that Jaylen was saying too. That they're just it's all about speed.
Yeah,
just
we're gonna run teams off the floor. I love it.
We are going to give a whole kind of breakdown of the Celtics, what we're predicting for the season, and kind of get into a lot of that. No, I'm talking not to you. I know you know that. To the Chuddy head at home. That's going to kind of come into a whole season preview, but I do think I'm excited for this kind of shift in style of play that you mentioned there.
Yeah.
All right, we got what do we have left here? 1, 2, 3, 4 guys left. Whoa.
All right.
Queta. All right, my prediction for Queta, he's going to be the best Portuguese-born player in the NBA this year.
I love it.
Love that. All right.
Yeah.
He showed out of the Euro ball, Euro
did.
basket, whatever the.
Yep, Euro basket.
Why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit? I'm sure not the average Chuddy head was watching all of the Euro basket, but let's be honest though, we're joking about it. Like, does that matter at all? Like, do you think that can?
Oh, I mean, I think it's nothing. I think you just look at the Eurobasket; it's littered with NBA players. For him to be the best player on a country that qualified, played well, had some moments. Not nothing. I'm not saying he's going to be like a star.
Yeah.
But I think he kind of legitimized some of the before, again, he was kind of, I don't want to say he was like the Taco Fall of the team, but now he's stepping into a position where he very well might be our starter. We'll see. They've done some different experimenting with the starting lineups, but I think there's a very good chance, at least on a lot of nights, Queta will be the starting center.
I think that five's going to be like matchup based.
Definitely, which I'm fine with. But I think he'll be a big part of it. He's definitely, he's not a core member of the team at this point. I think he could get there if he stabilizes it as the starting center. I wouldn't say that's crazy. Right now, I'd say he's still in the role player part where, again, he'll be a starter some nights, he'll a bench player other nights. He'll play a lot because of the need and because he brings that kind of unique skill set where he's the big guy who, again, he doesn't have those great ball skills, but he's going to fly around. He's going to play above the rim. He's going to make plays with his size, energy, athleticism. All that stuff that they're going to need a lot of. Keep saying it, but so much is going to come down to rebounding. Can he actually? We know he can make the crazy highlight reel play. Can he just make the reliable play where he boxes out his guy and owns that space when he's in there? That's what it's going to kind of come down to. Can he clean up the fundamentals, the little things that will keep him on the court, make him a great NBA player? I'm excited about it. And again, I think the opportunity never going to be better. He earned it with the way he played last year in the limited minutes. Now a lot of those guys are gone. He's kind of the incumbent, which feels kind of crazy that he's like the veteran starter who's been around of the group. So I think it's his job. I think he can definitely run with it. And there'll be good opportunity again with the guys he's playing with. That style, again, the run and gun. Good athlete, can get up and down the floor. I think with the bigs, it could almost be like hockey subs where it's like you're in for 5 minutes. He's completely gassed. Cool. Next guy, go in there for 5 minutes. But he'll be a big part of that. I'm excited about it. And, again, Neemias another guy who just got that tiny sliver of a chance and rode with it so much to the point where he became like basically a legit role player out of absolutely nowhere. So I'm not going to bet against him now with this opportunity. I think he could take another step and be at least like an average level starting center in the NBA, which given what the depth chart looked like going into the offseason, that would be a massive, massive win.
Yeah. Queta and Minott minutes together, it can be so chaotic. It's going to be so sick. Just want to say that. Like, for sure. People just flying around, dude. Like, that's going to be crazy.
Absolutely. I think Hugo will fit into that, too, for people.
Ooh, I like that. All right, let's see here. All right. Anfernee Simons. All right, I like this one. This is one I'm kind of waiting to get to because this is a guy that I think is going to kind of change change how he plays. I think from what he's been saying, it seems like he's much more into this idea of becoming a better defender.
Mm-hmm.
I think he understands that he has to be a better defender in order to play meaningful minutes here. And I think that it sounds like he's the kind of guy who's taking a little bit of pride in that challenge, sort of accepting that challenge. I think this is something that I've always felt like in the NBA, like you can become a serviceable defender really at any point. I think it's a lot more about like mindset. I think that there's a lot of players who we think of as bad defenders where if they just truly committed to being good defenders, they could at least become like not a parking cone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that Simons is kind of up that. I know he's a little small, 6'3". I know that the size is kind of like it is what it is, but I was seeing people calling him Timu Dame Lillard. He was hitting some crazy shots that did look a little Dame Lillard-like. Dame Lillard also is kind of a parking cone on defense too.
Sure.
Obviously, if we can get Timu Dame Lillard, I would take that. What do you think for Simons? I'm excited about him. I was kind of like take it or leave it, but I think what I've seen, it's looked kind of nice so far. 381 from three for his career. Averaged 19 points a game last year. Obviously, he's probably not going to play that many minutes this year to do that, but just to know that he has that. What are your thoughts on Simons? I'm excited about him as the player. Excited to see what he can do defensively. I hope he can figure it out.
Yeah, I think Simons is squarely in that role tier, and I think he honestly could work himself into the core tier. Again, I think all anyone thought about when we traded for Simons was like him as a piece of the salary cap. He's an expiring contract. This is what he makes. He's a trade piece, blah, blah, blah. Now, we're in preseason. He's still on the team. We're focusing a little more on, maybe this is a guy the Celtics actually liked, identified, went out, and traded for. So as you mentioned, maybe like he hasn't done some of those things. I think this has been a very humbling offseason. The team that drafted him, at one point he was on somewhat of a star trajectory to the point where they basically just like salary dumped him and didn't want him because they didn't want to have to worry about his next contract. So I think that's humbling. That'll make you focus on defense and things like that more too and motivate you to play the right way. He talked about how in Portland, those weren't really even things he worked on. You mentioned all the Dame stuff. Obviously, I mean, he grew up playing behind Dame his whole career. Like that was his vet. So I don't think it's any surprise. As for the game itself, I mean, you just watch this guy play. I think that opportunity that you just mentioned is absolutely going to be there for him. I think he'll probably start on the bench, but I think he'll be a super six man who plays starter minutes. I think we'll play a ton of guards. I think there's going to be a lot of shots for him. We've already seen it. He scored, I think, 18 and 21 points in the two games, 6 of 9 on threes last night. This guy can shoot. He's going to get open looks. He's got a green light. I mean, he was stepping back and pulling up from multiple feet behind the line.
He had a couple that were just absolutely absurd.
Yeah, but I mean, he has soft touch. He's another guy. He can get it going. So again, perfect system fit. The defense, as you mentioned, there are some physical limitations. He's not very big. He's not very strong. But if he can focus and just make himself like not actively
like
bad,
a Pritchard, just be like as good as Pritchard. Like I mean,
I
Pritchard's
think that's lofty.
really
I think
good.
Pritchard's
maybe
good.
not as good as Pritchard. Yeah,
just don't be.
But I'm saying Pritchard wasn't all. I think he wasn't all. Like he always had that size issue. I think he's kind of committed to being a little junkyard dog. I think.
Sure.
I would love to see those two playing one-on-one. Holy fuck.
I think Pritchard would take him, honestly. He's so strong.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But no, I think Simon's
now,
a masterful
year,
scorer.
though.
Yeah. Well, and I think some of those guys, like we said, with White, Pritchard, Brown, might be focused on taking a bigger playmaking role. I think this falls perfectly for Simons to be like, just go in there and score 20 a night off the bench. Boom. Every night. Go in there, be a microwave, fill it up. I think he can do it.
We've got a lot of guys scoring 20 a night for us.
Well, I think we've scored like 140 points a game with the way we're playing. I think it's going to be high-scoring games. I think we're going to have to – our defense isn't going to be great, so we're going to have to commit to rebounding, and then I think we're going to fly up and down the court. We're going to play in transition. We're going to cause turnovers. We're going to get up a shitload of threes. But I think of him – he'll almost be like probably a sixth starter where I think we'll just rotate kind of those White, Pritchard, Simons. Like two of them will probably be on the court at all times.
Keep them fresh.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all going to fill it up. I'm excited to see him in this
role. The 5
again.
and the 1-2 is just going to be like hockey shifts, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, even some on the wing. I think even in general, there's going to be obviously a few guys who are on the court more than others, but for the most part, a lot of subbing and a lot of like hot hand on a given night. Okay, you come in. Okay, this unit's working. Boom, let's roll with it. So I think Simons will be a big part of that. And again, I'm finally getting very, very excited about Simons as a basketball player, seeing what he can do. And again, if it goes well, expiring contract, we give him that chance. He likes it here. Like, no reason to not be bought in. He was saying some nice things about his first time as a home player in the TD Garden last night. Again, buy in, do the right things, I think there's a really good opportunity for him to become a fan favorite, a guy the Celtics really like, and a guy who maybe can extend at a more reasonable number. And maybe he actually becomes a part of this core.
Spark plug guy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. 2 more. We got Boucher. All right. I've loved what I've seen from Boucher so far in the preseason. I love that he's nicknamed the Swatter Boy, according to Basketball Reference. That has to be a reference to the Water Boy, right? Boucher, Swatter Boy.
Yeah, Bobby Boucher, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's got to be something unbelievable. Played 50 games last year for the Raptors. He averaged 10 points a game, played about 17 minutes a game. I got another guy, though, I think is just going to get a larger role with us. Just seems like just a gritty guy, like a tough dude. I said before we started recording, sneaky like millennial KG. Like obviously not as crazy as KG, but that's why he's millennial KG or maybe like Gen Z KG or something like that because it's
he's definitely millennial.
Obviously not like a psycho. Yeah, he's definitely in the millennial. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. Obviously not like the total head case, but the size, the kind of he does sort of have a little bit of that edge to him. I don't like to just throw the KG word around, but I'm just really excited for him. I love that he wears 99. He said that the team has 99 problems. He's not one of them. Just a great addition. I mean, I think this is another guy. When he came in, I think I kind of scoffed at it. He said, "Oh, he's like this in Toronto." I said, "Who the fuck cares about Toronto?" 2-time NBA champ, though. I didn't realize that he won with the Warriors his rookie year too.
No, so I think
Boucher, he played one game, but.
No, but I have Boucher squarely in the role tier. He's going to play every night. I think he'll start some nights. He started last night. He started the first game. He started the first game at power forward. He started last night as the only big at center. He's played more power forward for his career. He's I think you're saying some of the KG stuff because he's kind of a long, lankier, big guy. He's got that skinny frame, but he's kind of tough and strong too. He can shoot it. Great 3-point shooter for a big. So to me, signing Boucher, he's different than like the Garza Minott. Boucher's a proven NBA veteran. He's not like some great player, but he's been in the NBA a long time. He can play. The Celtics, frankly, needed that. They didn't have a guy like that in the front court who's proven to be like a nightly NBA player. If nothing else, Boucher is that. He'll just solidify that front court. I think, there's a chance he'll get a bigger role. He's had a big role at some points in his career. I'm not expecting some crazy leap. I think he's already in his 30s. Somehow, I believe there was 1 year of overlap. Yeah. Which the craziest fact, I could be wrong on this. I want to say there's 1 year of overlap when he was at Oregon with when Pritchard was there, which seems almost impossible.
Yeah, I think they kept saying
they both played there for like 5 years.
They make it sound like they played together.
I want to say for 1 year. I think Boucher's like super senior year. Pritchard was there probably as a freshman or something like that, which seems again crazy given the age difference.
Go with your thoughts on Boucher. I'll figure it out.
But no, I like Boucher. We haven't really had, obviously, other than Porzingis, a true like pick and pop big guy. So I think again, Boucher, he'll fit in perfectly. He can shoot 5-10 threes any given night. He'll be out there pick and popping guys to death, which is a little different than Queta and Garza. So it's just good to have that element. I think the more kind of things we can do, the better. He'll fit in well with his versatility. He can play around the rim. Another guy, I keep bringing up the R word. It's all about that rebounding. He's not such a conventional big man when it comes to rebounding. He's going to have to commit to that. He's going to have to get big and play down low. But in terms of the way we want to play, where we want to fly up and down the court, play in transition, shoot threes, you couldn't get him a much better big man considering the spot we were in where we had pretty much no one. So again, I'm not saying he's going to come in, be some savior, be an all-star or whatever, but he'll give you 20 nights of very, very solid play in the front court at night, which is something if the Celtics want to be good, they're going to need. And the fact that he allows them to play small with him at the center, or he can kind of punch in there as a conventional power forward, exciting stuff. So again, given what the team had to work with and what they paid him, great signing. And a guy who's going to factor in is a big part of the rotation from night one. And if things ever did go south, God forbid, easy guy to trade because some contending team will probably want him.
Yeah, can confirm. Played Pritchard's freshman year. They were there together.
Crazy.
So Pritchard is how old's Pritchard here? Pritchard's 27. He's 33. So yeah, that's
wild.
And that's all before COVID too. And guys had millions of years of eligibility. That's absolutely insane.
Yes.
All right, great. So yeah, we got the Ducks. The Ducks rolling through. All right, that leaves our last guy, Xavier Tillman, the X-Man. So I was so high on the X-Man at the end of the previous season, before last season.
Yep.
They re-signed him. I said, I love that. He's going to be a big guy. He's going to have a lot of minutes, play this big role. And then we barely even saw the guy.
No.
I don't really know. Obviously, the need is greater this year. A lot of, Allen, KP cleared out ahead of him. But I just can't get myself too excited about Tillman, relying on Tillman based on the fact that I thought last year he was going to be sort of that third big in, and Luke just absolutely snatched up that job from him.
And Queta.
Maybe he's learned. What's that?
Luke and Queta both just leapfrogged.
Well, yeah, I guess, Queta sort of became that fourth big. So it's like,
definitely,
if he's buried behind Queta last year, it's like, I know that we're kind of tight in that role, but I feel like Garza, Boucher, Queta, like he's still kind of in that fourth, fifth big. What are you expecting out of Tillman? I want more out of Tillman. I love the player. I like who he is and all that, and I think his skills are there. But when you see something like that, you're sort of like, what the fuck? How does he fix that? How does
for sure. So, I mean, I think you have to, unfortunately, start Tillman in the kind of like stay ready, but hopefully we won't need you category. But with Tillman, we actually might need him because of the dearth of options in the front court. Last year, again, it's almost inexplicable what happened to him. I think maybe his knees were dust. There was some that he came out there. He just couldn't move. For what it's worth, he started the first preseason game at center. I thought he looked really good. I think I tweeted out that it was like the best I'd seen him since the finals. Just in a few minutes, he had a couple nice plays on defense. He was getting up and down. He had an alley-oop. He hit a shot. So Tillman's so weird with me because we saw it. He was that guy for the Grizzlies. He didn't have a big role, but he always played well. He always impressed me. Came to the Celtics immediately, same thing, was playing well, got in there. Again, this is a guy that we were trusting in the first half of the finals. Like, he was playing real minutes in the finals for the stacked Celtics team, then can't get on the court last year. Makes absolutely no sense. I'm hoping that, that guy from a few years ago is still in there because that would be absolutely massive. He was the closest thing we had to another Al Horford where he could actually switch. He was legitimately play inside and out. He could shoot some threes. He could switch on pick and rolls and guard guys on the perimeter. So, like, if we get the best version of Tillman, which, again, isn't like some superstar, it's a guy that we saw 2 years ago and was just a very solid bench player, that would be so awesome. I just don't know how you can say you, like, expect it at this point. But for what it's worth in the preseason, he looked a lot better than he did last year. So, I'm crossing my fingers, but he's still got to work his way back into the stay-ready crew, in my opinion.
It felt like last year he, like, said, like, the town was a shitty movie or something like that. Like, he was just gone, buried. Like, or, or it's like, like someone got like an old lady got like her purse stolen like within like 100 feet of him, and Missoula found out he didn't do something about it and was just like, I can't trust you on the floor if you wouldn't take on a criminal in the middle of the night. So I don't know. I like I said, I like Tillman. I'd love to see Tillman kind of play into that role that we thought he would have. But
I've heard the suggestion too that once they signed Tillman, it was all like the long con and some test because Joe knew that they wouldn't be able to keep Porzingis. Al Cornette are gone, so he motivated Tillman by burying him on the bench after signing that contract, knowing that now he'll be motivated when they need him, and he's back to.
That's so true. It's just like,
anyone will do
it much this year anyway. But so instead of just giving you a little bit of minutes and like feeling important, I'm gonna fucking.
If anyone would do it, that's a Missoula move if I've ever heard one.
And based on that first preseason game, maybe it worked. So
yeah,
all right.
I liked what I saw.
All right, so that's we got a player program, I think. Real quick, should we just kind of run through the list here? You can kind of give everyone a little 1 second. So if you guys are out at the bar or whenever you're talking to someone, you need a little quick hit on any of these guys. Do you want to just start with our core guys?
Yeah.
All right. Jaylen Brown.
Undisputed leader of the team.
Derrick White.
It's his offense now. He's going to run the show. I think he's taking an all-star leap.
Payton Pritchard.
Finally has the opportunity. He'll be an every night starter. I think he could push for 20 points a game. Sky's the limit.
Sam Hauser.
Another guy with extended opportunity. One of the best snipers in the league. 3-point contest trip incoming.
All right. Let me try to remember who we had as our core guys. We had Simons, Queta, Boucher. Well, I guess, Tatum for core.
Yeah.
Tatum.
He's Superman.
Tatum.
He's Superman. He'll be back, and he'll be better than ever.
All right. Our role players, those are Simon, Queta, Boucher, Garza. Do we have Garza as a role player?
Yeah, I think it was 5.
All right. And Minott. It was Minott too, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
All right. Anfernee Simons.
Microwave scoring off the bench. Really big season.
Queta.
Real opportunity to be a starting NBA center this year.
Why not Minott?
Energy off the bench will terrorize the league on both ends. Perfect style fit.
Boucher.
Stability in the front court, a proven veteran, and a real pick and pop guy. I think there will be some games where he hits 5-10 threes.
Luka Garza.
Great bet on upside. I think he's going to impress people with some old school post moves and his finesse moves.
All right. In our stay ready, we just got Hugo and the Shire, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
Sadly.
All right. Hugo.
Hugo, I think he's going to be a little Tasmanian devil. Fans are going to very, very quickly fall in love with his style of play.
Scheierman.
Last chance. He's really, really got to get that shot selection under control, and he's got to bury his open looks. Bury them.
All right. And then ideally, you're ready always, but it's probably okay if you're not. Jordan Walsh.
Last chance, man. You got to find a way to stick out when you're on the court. That's all I can say. You got to find a way to stick out.
All right. And Tillman.
Also, last chance. Let's see what's up with that disappearing act. The opportunity is there. Can he still play?
All right. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice to kind of finally know what we have as the roster. I think that's kind of been my sort of thing with this whole team is it's like, this is where, you know, we're always thinking about the Celtics and stuff. I feel like these last preseason games are really where like the juices get flowing, the piss starts to warm up a little bit, things like that. So, so now you, the Chuddy head, kind of has an idea of who we got on the team. And yeah, you'll be able to kind of get a feel for who we are. Again, full playoff preview or full season preview episode is going to come out before opening night, which I think is the 21st or 22nd.
23rd, I think. Not without looking.
All right.
But
well, you'll find. We'll make sure we got the right date for it. The season preview. But yeah, anything else you want to add about the roster or anything like that? I do also, if I may, real quick, actually, I think this is a big year for Joe too. I think this is the first year where the talent alone isn't like. I think he's a good coach, but you can make the case that almost anyone can coach a team that's talented as the last 2 years. I think he's coached it well, and he deserves credit for being a good coach. I'm not trying to say that he isn't still a good coach, but I think this would be a good season for him to sort of prove that too. I think if he can come out and with kind of this, you know, mishmash of players and some guys like that, it'll be an interesting year for Joe.
Agree. And I think I agree with what you said. Like, it's a big year for Joe, but I don't want people to misconstrue that. And I don't think this is what you meant. That doesn't mean like if things go poorly, he's on the hot seat or anything like that. I think more excited, almost like you said with Jaylen, where obviously it sucks to be not like a top contender, but there is something exciting about, I think, from Joe's perspective of like, all right, now I can be more creative and try all this shit. Like, there isn't so much pressure if we lose. I can be much more adventurous and much more kind of like instill my footprint on this team and get us to play the way we want versus like the personnel is dictating we're this good. We have to play this way, which obviously worked. But now I think it's much more of like, take the reins, Joe, and like really lead us.
I think it's like we went from pressure is a privilege to no pressure is an opportunity. I feel like would be a good way to kind of think about it. It's like this lack of pressure gives us an opportunity to do things differently and to kind of try different things. So, all right, I'm excited. We're getting close to Celtics season, folks. Remember Chuddy's Corner. We're going to be giving you episodes after every episode of the Boston Celtics. So after every game the Boston Celtics play. So if you have not already gone on and subscribed to Chuddy's Corner, do so now. We're on YouTube, we're on Amazon, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Video episodes on YouTube, recaps every night. Give us a follow on social media too, at Chuddy's Corner. He's at King Chuddy. I'm at Dugouts, Doug_outs. Looking forward to seeing you guys all year. Going to be a good year. Chud, take care. Good to finally be back on the mic. Oh, also, for all the Chudettes out there, we are officially a fully married pod. I think it's the first pod I've done since the wedding. So sorry, Chudettes out there. Officially, we're all off the market.
One more ring for the Chuddy heads. Keep them coming.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So since we started the podcast, we've gotten 3 rings. Not bad. Not bad.
Nope, that's not bad.
All right. Everyone, take care.
Peace out, Chuddy heads.